ready.
Hello there and welcome once more to User One Retro. Thank you very much for joining me today for this Western special where I'll be looking at 3 Western themed games and also a couple of movies as well. And there will also be a small smattering of movie pickups at the end of the video. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I greet you with warm open arms. I'm sorry that there's no wine, it's all been drank already. Sorry. If you do like this video and you want to explore more content that I've got on the channel, then please consider liking, subscribing and sharing as far wide as possible, and also clicking the little bell just down there, and you can be notified of any videos that will be uploaded in the future. Now, as I say, this video is going to be a Western special, yes, from the days of, let's just say the days of rootin' tootin', guns slinging, silver badge shining, horse riding, whooping and hollering, that kind of era. And it's an era that basically is closer to my heart now than it has been. And the reason for that is that, well, it's basically this video is going to be dedicated to my late father, who very sadly passed away on the 4th of January of this year, 2023. He loved his westerns. He loved John Wayne, Gary Cooper, Randolph Scott, Al Robinson, Robinson, sorry. He loved all those kind of films. He loved watching them every time that they were on. No matter, even if he's seen them a few times, he'll sit and watch them. And as I say, he was very cruelly taken away from us at the beginning of the year. And this video I've done specifically to dedicate to him in his memory. Dad, this one's for you. So, we're going to crack on, first of all, with the 3 games. Now, the first game is called Gunfighter, and it was released by Atlantis Software for the very reasonable price back in the day of £2.99 shiny pennies. And it was done by the Shaw brothers. I think it was Graham and David Shaw, and I think Andrew Shaw as well. And it basically sees you in the role of a sheriff, and you have to defend the town from a gang of outlaws. You also have to find the deeds to the town as well, finding them along the way, and they can be scattered in random places. Now, I played this game recently, and it's a game that is dear to my heart anyway, because I first picked it up in W.H. Smith's in Harlow back when it first came out, and it was about 1989. And I liked the cover art because it invoked that kind of, you know, Wild West frontier from the 60s and that. And when I got it home and played it, I absolutely adored it. It's got some cute graphics. I mean, the characters are only about that big. And the way that they're drawn and they animate, I mean, your main character walks along and his gun moves up and down like that as he's walking, you know, and his hat is like an oversized sombrero, which is quite funny, I must admit. But no, the graphics, even though they're small, they do their job. They're very nice and colourful. And there is some parts when you move your character up to, say, like, you're outside the jail and your character takes on that colour, but it was an attribute of the Spectrum anyway. It's got some really good sound effects. It's got some good music as well. And one of the things as well is that when you've used up the 6 bullets in your gun, you have to go all the way back to the jail to reload, like to get more ammo. And I think that's quite clever, because it means that things start to get really kind of tense when you're having a shootout with a bad guy and you end up using all your bullets. You have to trudge all the way back to the jail, not knowing when the next bad guy's going to come along. But no, it's a very fun game, and it's a game that I can heartily recommend. I mean, if you can pick it up for the same price as it was back then I would say do it, because it's well worth a play. It's got cute graphics, it's got great gameplay, it's got some pretty good music at the beginning on the title screen and the option screen, and the sound effects are pretty good as well. It's just a really good fun game for a budget game, and there's, even though it doesn't seem like it, there is actually a bit to it. I mean, as I say, going after the bad guys and finding all the deeds to the town, you know, and then when you get the bad guys, then you get the reward for them. So say like the first one is Hugo your way. Yeah, exactly. That was the joke. You get $11 for him. The next one is TP Wigwam, I think it is. It's Native American chat. And his is $22, and then the next one's $33, and then it goes up, and and you also get money for the deeds as well. But no, as I say, it is a very good game indeed. And it's well worth a few moments of your time to play it. It's well worth it, definitely. And so we move on to the second of our Western games, and it is Data East's Express Raider. Now, I first played this on the Spectrum. I wasn't very good at it, and I just used to put that down to, the game's just a load of crap, which was basically normal of at the time for me. If I didn't like it, or if I couldn't get far, the game's crap, But basically, you play the bad guy. Yes, you play the bad guy. And it's your job to hijack a train full of gold. There's the first level sees you in a 1v1 fight against an engineer or one of the guards on the train. And then after that, you have to kick coyotes or something to get more energy or something. And then after that, you have to, I think it's run along the top of the train, or it could be you have to ride along the side of the train, and you have to shoot at the good guys trying to protect the shipment of cash, And as you're moving the horse along, you have to press up to aim the little crosshair that you've got, but it moves your character up and down. So basically, when you move the crosshair up, your character goes up as well. So basically, they're in tandem. And the thing is, as well, with that is, like with any kind of light gun game, you also get innocents as well. And they're in danger of being shot at, which I did do once playing this. So yeah. And then also, as I say, you have to run across the top of a train and beat the hell out of the guys trying to stop you from getting to the money. Later on, you have to duck down as the train goes through tunnels and goes past posts and things like that. And then you've got people trying to grab your legs from inside the carriage and that. And it's actually a pretty good level. Really good part of the level. And then also with that part is you've got people who put bombs on the couplings to try and stop you from hijacking the train. And I must admit, even though the graphics, it was 1986 that it came out at the cinema. Sorry, the cinema. At the arcade. At the arcade, sorry. The graphics are okay. Okay for 1986. I mean, there were graphically better games like Outrun, and Space Harrier and that. So even though the graphics are a little bit more primitive, not by much, they still do their job. They're still adequate, and they still look pretty good. Gameplay wise, the arcade version is actually really good, and it's made me want to go back and play the Spectrum version of the game, just to see if it is just me who's crap or if it's just poorly coded. But But no, another one I can definitely recommend, Express Raider by Data East. If you can emulate it, definitely check it out. It's worth a few minutes again of your time to play it. It's just a great little game. It really is. And the fact that it's got one-on-one beat 'em up things, it's actually very novel with that. I will say that if you're using emulation and you've got a joypad, try and map the buttons to the actual D-pad, because using the analog stick, sometimes I found that he wouldn't jump up when I needed him to. So apart from that though, it's worth playing. It really is. And so we move on to the final game. Sadly, the final game. And it's one that I think is possibly one of the better home ports of an arcade game, and it is Sunset Riders by Konami. Now, as I say, I'm a big fan of this game. In fact, I'm certain I first played this in Southend. I think it was just after it first came out, and I was hooked on it. And so when it came out on Super Nintendo, I think it came out on Super Nintendo a few years after. And so I was like, I've got to have that. And it's just a fantastic run and gunner. It really is. The Super Nintendo version cuts out some of the violence. It's actually got some changes as well, like for censorship and that. And I do believe that some of the characters were changed from women to men, obviously to censorship reasons. And obviously because of the Super Nintendo, the graphics were downscaled a little bit. But still, it is a really good game. And I must admit that I could normally get pretty far on one credit, but when I played it recently, I ended up using one credit on 2 stages. I was absolutely terrible at it, and I do believe that my games playing prowess, it's not as good as what it used to be. Oh man, but it's still a great game. It really is, and it's worth checking out for sure. And it is worth checking out for sure. Just be warned though that the physical copy on either the Mega Drive or the Super Nintendo, it does go for quite a lot. So if you've got another way of playing it, then definitely check it out. That being said, the Mega Drive version is different. It's got extra levels, and I think from what I can remember, because I played it a while ago, there are levels in between the main levels where you have to chase after, I think it's like a carriage or something with a damsel in distress in, and she's chucking out extras like 1-ups and stuff like that. I think, anyway, my memory might be letting me down here, and you have to save her, you know. So yeah, there are differences like that, but apparently there is a team working on a arcade port, like porting the actual arcade game to the Mega Drive, same as Final Fight. And I can't wait to see what they're going to be like. That's going to be something for me to keep an eye on for the future, definitely. But no, Sunset Rise on the Super Nintendo. If you haven't played it, check it out. If you have played it, I urge you to go back to it. It's just a fantastic game. It really is, and it definitely captures the spirit of the Old West. You know, and like the westerns of like the 50s and that, especially with like chasing down the buckboard and they're throwing out logs to try and trip you up, and you know, all the gunfights and that, and especially you know, we're saying draw Pilgrim and things like that. It's a great game. I can't fault it. I really can't fault the Super Nintendo version. It's just excellent. Okay, so that is the game side done with. We're now going to go to the other side of the entertainment spectrum, and I'm going to talk about a couple of Western films, and a film that's It's not really a Western, but what you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean when I talk about it. But the first one I want to talk about is a absolute classic. It's based on the novel of the same name. Stars John Wayne in the main role of Rooster Cogburn, and of course you're gonna know the title of the film. It's True Grit, with Kim Darby looking to avenge her father's death, employing Rooster Cogburn, famed marshal, to go after Tom Chaney, who, as I say, murdered her father and escaped with a load of money. Now, the film, as I say, it departs a bit from the novel due to the ending, which, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, stop the video now, go and watch it, come back. I can wait. Have you watched it? Good, then we can continue. So basically, the ending of the book sees a few years down the line, the girl tries to find Rooster Cogburn. Only he was part of Wild Bill Hickok's Wild West Rodeo show, but he dies. The John Wayne version, it doesn't show that bit. It just shows him leaving the girl behind, jumping over the fence on his horse, and then freeze frame, which I think is actually a perfect ending to that film. The remake, which is equally as excellent as the original, and does follow the book a bit more closely. It does have that ending with going to try and find him. They are both good versions, but because I grew up with the John Wayne version, I will watch that version more, because, again, going back to my dad, he would watch it, I would watch it with him, so there's that connection. You know, it brings back those good memories for me of sitting down, watching westerns with him, you know, watching various like other programs with him as well. But any John Wayne film actually has that connection for me, especially True Grit. You know, and that is one of the reasons why I love the film so much. You know, is because now when I watch it, I can imagine him watching it sitting at the side of me, watching it with me, and, you know, saying about various facts of the Wild West, because he used to love the Wild West and that. And so, you know, that's why I think that the 69 True Grit is an absolute classic. And if I remember correctly, it's also got, I think it's either Dennis Hopper or Robert Duvall in the film as well. I think it was one of their one of their early roles. I can't remember. I'm certain it was one of those two anyway. No doubt I'll probably end up finding out after I've recorded this, and I'll put a little thing up there. There we go. Now, the next film I want to talk about is a film starring Gary Cooper. And it is, without a doubt, possibly one of the greatest westerns I have ever seen. I actually watched it for the first time last year. It was the end of last year, after I came back from the States, after hearing the news of my dad. And he was watching it on Film 4. I remember that. I was watching it on Film 4. And I think he turned over about 10 minutes into it. And I said, "Oh, I've never seen this film before." So he said, "Sit down, watch it. You know, you'll like it." And I did. It's, as I say, it is one of the greatest westerns, one of the greatest films I have ever seen in my life. You know, the whole thing of Gary Cooper trying to protect this town from a load of outlaws, I think it is, or, you know, he's put one of the gang in jail, and they're going to come and kill him and break the bad guy out. So it's something like that anyway. The whole thing of the town not helping him, he's on his own. You know, it's kind of like, it makes it even more tense, especially when you see the clock ticking down. It's a masterclass of a film. It really is. I think it's only on for about 85 minutes. But it's 85 minutes worth spending. It's such a classic film. And following on from that, the film I was referencing earlier on, it's a science fiction kind of remake of High Noon called Outlander. It's got Sean Connery. Who else is in it? James B. Sickey, Peter Boyle, and Francis Sternhagen. And there's also a small cameo from British actor Gary Olsen in there as well, who sadly died. I think he was in about 99. I think it was due to a heart attack. But yeah, I was actually astonished when I first saw the film. I think it was on TCM when they were showing a load of great sci-fi films back in the early 2000s. I mean, that's how I first got to watch Westworld and Logan's Run. But no, I first watched that on there, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, that's him from 2.4 Children, surely. And when I saw it again, I was like, that is him. That is him. But yeah, as I say, it is a science fiction remake of High Noon. And it's all about this mining company wanting to make more profits by getting the workers to take these drugs to make them work faster, make them work harder, so they can do a job that takes 10 hours into 2. So they do it in 2 hours, but it burns them out mentally and they start going psycho. And so Sean Connery tries to uncover it. And as I say, it is a science fiction remake of High Noon, because the company basically try and send 2 mercenaries to take him out because they don't want him exposing what the company are doing. And it's just a great movie. It's a great companion movie to High Noon. So you can watch High Noon first, and then watch Outland and see, and like, oh yeah, that's that. It's a great companion piece to it. It really is, and I can't recommend Outland enough. It's a brilliant film. Brilliant film. And so the last film, the last Western that I will be looking at is a film that I have just finished watching all the way through for the first time after having caught the last hour and a half of it, or the last hour. Again, this is one of my dad's favourite films. And I can see why. Pardon me. I can see why. It's epic on a Western scale. You know what I mean? Truly epic. It's got a great cast. Obviously, you've got John Wayne, you've got Richard Widmark, you've got Richard Boone, Lawrence Harvey, Denver Pyle. You know, great actors. Really great actors. You've also got Frankie Avalon as well, who I read that John Wayne actually watched some of the dailies, I think it was, from a film he was doing called Timberland. And he said, right, I want him on the picture, after knowing that Rio Bravo done well because he cast Ricky Nelson in a role. And so he thought, right, okay, I'll do it again. Frankie Avalon liked his acting and brought him in. And of course, the film I'm talking about is The Alamo. The Alamo, a classic 2.5, is it 2.5 hours? 2 hours, 41 minutes. But you know what? It is the best way to spend 2 hours and 40 minutes. I mean, the reviews of this were mixed when it came out. I mean, there was some saying it was great, some saying it was as flat as Texas, which is a lie because there are actually some hills in Texas. Cinematography is great. You know, the landscape when Santa Anna's bringing his men past this massive rock rock face is just like, wow. You know, it is just, it's a great movie. Really is a great movie. And you know what? This cost me 10 quid off of Amazon because there's no UK Blu-ray release. I don't even think there's a US one either. But the reason why I got this is because you've got the extended edition. The extended edition on standard definition as well. And I gave that a quick flick through, and the picture isn't that bad at all. And the reason why it's in standard definition was because they'd actually sourced it from the Laserdisc. Because when the Alamo was released on Laserdisc, they'd actually found a print. I think it was like a print that was used for like a Toronto screen or something. And they'd actually managed to enhance that enough to transfer it onto Laserdisc and VHS at the time. But due to time and all that, the footage had apparently deteriorated so much that it wasn't able to be done on HD. So the only source was the Laserdisc version. But 10 quid for 2 versions of the same film. And it's even got a something called La Passion Alamo, which I suppose is the Passion of the Alamo. And that's 40 minutes long. I've got a feeling it's in French. And then on the second disc, you've got the extended version. You got Making of the Alamo, John Wayne, My Father, I think it is, interview with Patrick Wayne, and that's 33 minutes long. Then you've got the something else with John Wayne. Then you've got photo galleries, and I think you've also got a trailer as well. But as I say, for a tenner, that is well worth it. I'd say well worth it. And the picture quality on this Blu-ray for the normal theatrical edition, second to none. Second to none. I think the company have done a really good job with remastering that. I really do. And as I say, the film is just fantastic. Absolutely breathtaking film. The battle scenes at the end, you know, it's just relentless, and it doesn't let up. I mean, even though it doesn't tell you why Santa Anna wants the mission, the Alamo mission, I think it was because basically the rebels who had control of that mission, they didn't want to give control over to Santa Anna and say, oh yeah, this is Mexican soil. They wanted it to be US soil. At least I think I'm reading that right anyway. And so basically he turned around and said, right, if you think that, then I want you to go. I want you to get out now. Otherwise we'll end up killing you. And you know, they fought so bravely on that. And, you know, as I say, it is a good film. And John Wayne even put $1.5 million of his own money into the film because he believed in it so much. Apparently, he even had to take out second mortgages and put his cars up for collateral. You know, but he was able to get a $2.5 million investment from I think it's from some people in Texas, and he even shot it on someone's ranch as well. They even built a version of the Alamo. Obviously, it was a third of the size, but even now it looks so authentic, so authentic. Apparently, that thing of the Alamo took 2 years to build, like doing it as they did. And that is remarkable. I mean, today it would be done with special, like a CG, and it wouldn't look as good, or it would, but it would date. Whereas that, because it was all built specifically, brick by brick, they even made the bricks as well. It was just awesome to see it there, and then they go and blow it up. But you know, we were like all the cannon fire and all that, but no, it's just a testament to how much John Wayne believed in this film, and it's such a good film to see. It really is. I'm actually glad I got this, you know, because as I say, I was watching it just now, and I felt as though, again, my dad was watching it with me. I know I keep saying about him, but that's just how much, you know, meant to me, and he means to me still, you know. But yeah, that was a tenner worth spending. And so we move off of Western films to the small part at the end, which says about physical purchases. Of course, the Alamo is one of those, so it leads nicely into it. As I say, tenner, can't go wrong. And plus, 2 discs. That's not bad. Now, the next one is one that obviously I have never seen before, and it has always intrigued me. And it stars James Coburn and Rod Steiger. Was directed by Sergio Leone with music by Ennio Morricone. And it is A Fist Full of Dynamite, or Duck You Suckers. It was also called Once Upon a Time, The Revolution. Yes, they're starring acting giants Rod Steiger as Juan Miranda, an amoral peasant turned outlaw, and James Coburn as John Mallory, a dynamite-tossing Irish revolutionary who has fled to Mexico after becoming a fugitive in his own country. Together, they're a devilishly volatile mix of anti-establishment philosophies and violent tendencies as they attempt to liberate political prisoners, defend their compatriots against a well-equipped militia, and risk their lives on a train filled with explosives. Now, this version has actually got 2 versions of the film. It's got where is it? You've got the US version. US version, and the Italian version, which is on disc 2. And you know what? There it is. They've even got a booklet as well. You've got the 2 discs and alternate artwork on the other side, but I must admit I do like that because it actually makes it look absolutely bonkers. And you know what? I cannot wait to see this. So that's going to be one to watch at some point for the very first time. Now, the next one is normally worth about 20 quid because apparently it's quite hard to get hold of this. Either that or people are just exploiting people. And what it is, it's a double feature of Clint Eastwood. And if I say the word Right Turn Clyde, you will know which films I mean. It is Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can. Double feature. Of course, this artwork is from the original Betamax version of Every Which Way But Loose. I do believe it was. I don't know if it was the UK version or the US. I can't remember which. But that was the original artwork. And I must admit, I don't go a lot on that. I really don't go a lot on that. But for a tenner, because they said that the disc was loose inside, which it isn't. It wasn't. It actually came sealed. It came sealed. And when I rattled it, I was like, there's no loose discs. Cracked it open. Lo and behold, they were in the holder. So I got it for a tenner instead of 25 quid or 25 quid. So I got it for half or less than half price. Yeah, I either got it for half price or even lower. I think I got that right. I hope I did anyway. But I haven't seen these for ages. In fact, I think we even had one of these on Betamax. But I do actually remember watching Any Which Way You Can a few months ago. I think it was just after Christmas. It might have been just before Christmas. I think Channel 5 were playing it here in the UK. And I think it was on the last hour. And I actually forgot how good that film really is. I mean, they got mixed reviews. But I enjoy them for what they are. Just good fun. Just really good fun films. And yeah, I'm so glad to have that in the collection. I can't wait to give those a watch. Now, the 4th disc is a war film that I've been after on Blu-ray for a while. I've had it on DVD. Actually, I've still got it on DVD, and it's a 2-disc affair with loads of special features. So when it came to getting this Blu-ray, I was actually holding off for quite a while and hoping, against hope, that they would release an edition of this with all the special features ported over plus more. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened. I don't think it's ever going to happen. So I just bit the bullet and I thought, sod it. For under £4, I thought, why not? And it is A Bridge Too Far, a World War II epic directed by Richard Attenborough with a huge cast of talent. And I mean an absolutely huge cast of talent. I mean, you've got Michael Caine, you've got Sean Connery, Laurence Olivier, Kate Durst. No, that's hang on. Liv Ullmann, sorry, Kate Durst is her name in the film. I'm so sorry. But yeah, you've got Maximilian Schell, you've got Gene Hackman, Edward Fox, Dirk Bogarde, Anthony Hopkins. You know, I think Hardy Kruger's in this as well. Yes, Hardy Kruger's in this as well. And Elliot Gould, James Caan. It's a veritable who's who of talent. And even though how was it on for? 168 minutes. It is an excellent World War II film, all about Operation Market Garden, which we all know if you studied World War II in secondary school or even in primary school like I did, about the big cock up that Operation Market Garden was, you know. And it is just a great retelling of that. I think it does take certain liberties with certain things for dramatic effect, but still, it is a really good film. Really, really good film. I'd say it's probably one of my favourite war films ever made. I can't praise that enough. I really, really can't praise it enough. It's such a good film. And then the last one, which I actually started to watch again last night for the second time after watching it. I think it was on DVD over at my wife's in Texas, because she had a copy of it because she loves the film so much. And the thing is, though, it's only on for about 85-90 minutes. But it's good to have it in the collection. And I'm just miffed that you can't get this on Blu-ray. I know some people are selling it on Blu-ray, but it's from a HD source and they've actually done it themselves. You know, I would rather buy a proper version of this that like bought in the shop. And it is California Man, or as our American cousins know it as, Encino Man. Great film, basically with the legend that is Brendan Fraser, Sean Austin, Pauly Shore, and it's all about these two high school kids who are just about to graduate, and as they dig in a pool in Sean Austin's back garden so they can host the party of the year, they find a caveman buried underneath it in ice. So after they thaw him out, they name him Link, they get him some clothes, and he becomes a figurehead of the school. Not a figurehead, but he becomes popular in the school. Everyone wants to know Link. It's a great film. It really is. And it just harks back to a time. When was this? This was about 92, I think it was. I think it was about 92. Yeah, about 92. And yeah, it's just a fun film. Really is. I had so much fun watching it. I did start to watch it, but I ended up falling asleep because it was quite late at night, as you can tell by me yawning. But no, I got this for £1 shiny from CEX. I had to pay postage because it wasn't local, but £1.98, £1.90 postage, £2.90, and people are actually trying to sell this for about £6 on eBay. More for them. I suppose trying to make up for the fees and whatnot. But yeah, that's all the pickups, including my 2 Western movies. That's it for the Western games, and that's it for my talk. For my recommendations for Western movies for this. I suppose, yeah, we can call it a special. But yeah, that is it for this episode. I hope you liked my recommendations for Western games. I hope you liked my recommendation for Western movies, and even a science fiction Western, which technically is still a Western movie. So, you know. And I hope you enjoyed my small smattering of physical media pickups, as I refuse to buy films on digital. Talking of that, I will be in a stream, not a water stream. Oh, no. I'll start again. I will be part of a live stream. Dan's Movie Cave. I think it's the 4th. The 4th of June, Saturday. It's either the 4th or the 9th of June. It's a Saturday. I will be talking with Dan from Dan's Movie Cave, Carlos, who is Eastwood for Life fan on YouTube, and Trevor. I'm sorry, I can't remember his YouTube name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. It's been a long few days. Yes, I will be on their stream. We will be talking about all things physical media, about why we love physical media, what it means to us, and why physical media should survive. So if you want to see that, head along to Dan's Movie Cave. Click like, and then as soon as the day comes, you will click subscribe on his channel. You will be notified of when that will be coming. It's going to be one that's going to be great. You don't want to miss it. And he's also done some other live streams as well in the past, talking about the Rocky films. They've got one this Sunday talking about the films of Clint Eastwood, which I will be tuning in for. So if you can, come along to it, say about your memories of Clint Eastwood films. They might even surprise you with some recommendations. Who knows? But anyway, please, if you can, come along to the physical media live stream in a few weeks' time. It's going to be great. Promise. It's going to be great. Quite looking forward to it. Dan's even said he's looking forward to it. Can't wait. Really can't wait. But no, that is it for this episode. I want to thank you ever so much for tuning in and watching. If you've just subscribed to the channel, thank you ever so much. If you are a current subscriber and you're coming back again, thank you very much. I am absolutely humbled that you are continuing to watch the videos, that you're enjoying it, you know, as much as I'm enjoying putting this stuff out there. I really am. I love talking about movies. I love talking about games, you know, and places that I go to, like, as I say, like Cidercade in Texas. You know, I love doing this. I don't do it for money. I really do not do it for money. That is not my intent with this. It's just, you know, me sharing things. That literally is all it is. It's just me sharing things to friends, basically. As though I'm talking to loads of friends, you know. And yeah, so anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming back. Really do appreciate it. I really do. But thank you very much for watching. Take care. Please look after yourselves and look after one another. And this is User One Retro signing off until next time. Goodbye for now.